The Forgotten Exodus. It started as whispers on the news, tales of a strange illness spreading in a remote village. For most people, it was a distant concern, a tragedy that didn't touch their lives. But the virus didn't care about borders, and it wasn't long before it reached the suburbs, the cities, and the countryside. In the small town of Millville, Tom and Sarah, a young couple with their whole lives ahead of them, watched with growing unease as the reports grew more ominous. A once familiar world started to unravel. Rumors spread of strange behavior, disappearances, and outbreaks. The first sign came when their neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, went missing. They had heard her panicked cries and seen her through the window as her husband tried to restrain her from violently attacking him. When the Johnsons' home stood eerily silent the next morning, the truth was clear. The infected, with a look of vacant hunger in their eyes, roamed the streets, seeking their next victims. The once calm streets of Millville turned into a battleground, and Tom and Sarah knew they had to escape. Fighting their way past the infected, the young couple fled their home, leaving behind the town they had known all their lives. The world outside was no longer recognizable, and they were plunged into an unforgiving wilderness, uncertain of what lay ahead. With the few supplies they had managed to grab, Tom and Sarah ventured into the unknown, desperate to find safety and answers about the unfolding apocalypse. They encountered other survivors, some willing to band together for protection, while others were desperate and hostile, seeking to take what little they had. Amid the dangers of the outside world, Tom and Sarah stumbled upon an old radio broadcast that offered hope. A group of survivors had established a sanctuary in a remote mountain region, far away from the infected hordes. It was a beacon in the darkness, a place where survivors could rebuild their lives. Determined, they set out on a perilous journey toward the sanctuary, facing countless obstacles along the way. The path was treacherous, strewn with the remnants of a civilization that had crumbled. They encountered the infected in ever-increasing numbers and were forced to make difficult decisions to survive. The journey tested the couple's strength and resilience. They faced personal loss and sacrifices that left scars on their souls. But the hope of reaching the sanctuary kept them moving forward, even when the world seemed to conspire against them. After weeks of struggle and sacrifice, Tom and Sarah reached the remote mountain region where the sanctuary was said to be located. What they found was both hopeful and heart-wrenching. The sanctuary was a community of survivors who had banded together to protect themselves from the infected. They had established a network of defenses, shelters, and sustainable resources. The place seemed like a haven in a world gone mad. However, the sanctuary had its own set of challenges. The survivors were guarded and cautious about newcomers, fearing that they might bring the infection with them. Tom and Sarah had to prove their worth to the community, sharing their skills and contributing to the collective efforts to survive. The couple's arrival coincided with a growing crisis. The sanctuary was facing mounting pressure from the infected, and the defenses were beginning to falter. As the couple struggled to fit in, they found themselves on the front lines of a desperate battle. The Forgotten Exodus had brought them to a place where humanity's last stand was in progress. The survivors had come from all corners of the world, each with their own story of loss and resilience. As they fought to protect their newfound sanctuary, the couple realized that they were part of something bigger, a collective effort to preserve humanity and find a way to reclaim the world from the brink of destruction. The end.